Are you lacking confidence right now and you're wondering why this may be? Well, today I'm going to share a perspective on this. And if you stay until the end, I have an extra special point for you then as well. So I was reflecting on this when I've been my most confident and not so much. And I realized organizing and having things in place was actually a huge factor. Going for job interviews when I was really organized rather than blagging it. Like there was time I remember coming back from a crazy lads holiday in my early 20s, and I went into an interview and I wasn't very prepared and I did not feel very confident because I didn't trust myself to do very well. But I can remember when I got really good at job interviews because I kept practicing, mentally preparing, saying the things out loud. And by the way, if you're ever practicing for a job interview, don't just say it in your head. You've got to say it out loud to yourself, as crazy as it sounds. Dating, right. This is weird. It's there's this perspective that I'll just go be yourself and show up. Well, yeah, you can do, definitely. But if you practice the conversations and the kind of questions you might ask, some fun answers and conversation in advance, how much more confident you're going to be when you turn up for the date. And I certainly discovered that when I practice conversation topics and visualize like how the date would go, where we would go, and everything like that, that's when I became more confident. All right, social conversations, the same thing as I just said. I remember just like turning up, like really nervous socially, and in social events, and I wouldn't know what to say, and I'd hide away. When I started getting more prepared for, I mean, the more you do these things, the less you're going to worry, and the more confident you're going to be going into them. But how can you start practicing and organizing yourself for social situations? Sales calls. You can tell the difference between quality salespeople and not so quality salespeople. They're prepared, they're organized, they know what they're going to do. They don't just blag it. I heard someone say the other day, which drove me insane. We're just going to go and I just have conversations with people. That's not how it works. You've got to be organized. Coaching, like when I'm more organized going into a coaching session than when I'm not, and I prepare in the last minute as I did in the early days, then I'm not as confident. And these are the things that I've found in my life. So you can go and hope for the best, but are you really going to feel that confident going into something? What is confidence? Confidence is a trust you have in yourself. So by organizing yourself in advance, by preparing yourself in advance, that's going to make you a lot more confident. So I want you to think about how you can. And I want you to think about some of the situations you may not be as confident in. Like, why are you not as confident in them? Probably because you don't feel as planned, as on the ball, as ready. So the question becomes, how can you become more organized and therefore more confident? And we're going to go into a few points in a minute. Well, right now. Okay. So the first one, there's 4 points here. The first one is know what you want. Be really clear on what you want out of the situation. What your ideal outcome be? Again, focusing on what you want rather than what you don't want. Second thing, what can I plan in advance to hit this? So, for example, your outcome is like going to a job interview and do as best as you can, like deliver a great job interview. Great, fantastic, to get you closer to getting to the job. What can you do, therefore? What can you plan? Well, you can practice in advance mock interviews with someone. You can practice writing different responses. Maybe you can do a bit of research. What can you do that's going to build that real massive confidence rather than blagging it on the day? The third thing, mental rehearsal. I was talking about this in the dating and the social situation, but it applies to anything. I do this a little bit for job interviews as well. Or if you're going to go into a business deal, if you're in a business, like how can you visualize that in advance? Mentally rehearse something in advance can make you feel confident because the brain doesn't know the difference between fake and reality. And when you can sit in silence for even 5 minutes and picture something you want coming up and picture yourself doing it again and again and again, it makes your brain believe that you've already done it and therefore confidence raises. The fourth one is praise. And when you've done all of these things, pat yourself on the back, because that's going to acknowledge you that you've done the work and to do more of it. Organize yourself so you feel more confident next time. Okay, so my final bonus point for you today that I said I'd share with you if we got until the end is start thinking about someone you really admire, someone who's a hero, someone who's inspirational to you. What would they do? What do they do consistently that makes them so smooth in things? And then start planning what they're doing into your targets, into your routine. So think as a target you want, get very clear on it, going back to step one, and then thinking about what someone else you admire would do is really going to get you thinking of new ways, and then you can start scheduling them in. So that's what I've got for you today. Very short and simple. Wanted to keep it that way. I appreciate you for being here. You're improving other people's lives by being the best you. And remember, you are in control of your own self-esteem and confidence.